Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge is an 1,856-acre sanctuary just outside Portland, Oregon, offering vital habitat for birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians in an increasingly urban landscape. It's located in the Tualatin River floodplain. It protects seasonal wetlands, oak savanna, riparian forest, and grasslands, all prime real estate for migratory birds along the Pacific Flyway. The refuge features a year-round trail and seasonal paths that wind through rich habitats, with a visitor center offering exhibits and an observation deck. It also holds deep cultural significance as the ancestral land of the Tualatin people, with ongoing efforts to restore both ecology and cultural memory. If you're visiting for the first time, or even the 100th, the best place to start is the Visitor Center. Tucked into the landscape like it grew there, this building is all about blending in, not standing out. Inside, you'll find exhibits that bring the refuge's ecosystems to life, spotting scopes to help you scan the wetlands, and a cozy little gift shop where every purchase supports conservation. It's the kind of place where you can ask a question, use the spotting scopes, or just stand on the deck and soak in the view. Peaceful and welcoming, just like the refuge itself. Long before this land became a refuge for birds and wildlife, it was home to the Tualatin people, a band of the Kalapuya Nation. For thousands of years, they lived in the Tualatin Valley, shaping the landscape with intentional care, setting low fires to encourage the growth of camas and oak, harvesting what they needed, and living in deep rhythm with the seasons. Their presence is still felt here in the names, the plants, and the very soil beneath our feet. And while they were displaced in the 1800s, their legacy remains a vital part of this place's story. All right, now let's shift gears and talk about one of my favorite parts of the refuge experience, the trails. Because sure, you can sit at the overlook and soak it all in from a distance, but the real magic happens when your boots hit the path and you start to walk the refuge. Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge isn't about conquering steep mountains or ticking off miles. It's about slowing down, tuning into your senses, and letting the landscape reveal itself one step at a time. Let's start with the year-round trail. This one's always open no matter the season, and it's perfect for just about anyone. It's a flat, easy out and back path, just under a mile, that winds its way from the visitor center down through a quiet corridor of oak and ash trees. The gravel crunches beneath your feet, birds flit through the canopy overhead, and depending on the time of year, you might catch glimpses of hummingbirds buzzing around blooming thumbleberry, or baby bunnies pretending like they own the trail. And just when you're starting to feel like the outside world has melted away completely, the trail delivers you to the overlook. This isn't just any platform, it's perched above a vast seasonal grassland, a wide open window into one of the richest habitats in the valley. In spring, it's alive with movement. Northern harriers swoop over the grassland in search of an early morning snack. You might also see herons and egrets searching for a place to land. Closer to the overlook, the brush is always a twitter with spotted towhees, black-capped chickadees, and bush tits. Honestly, you could stand there for an hour and still feel like you've only scratched the surface. But if you're lucky enough to visit between May and September, you've got access to a whole other world, the seasonal trails. And these 3 extra miles, they're a game changer. These paths follow old refuge service roads that now double as an immersive wildlife corridors. They pull you deeper into the wetland zone where the landscape really starts to open up. Picture sweeping marshes, grasslands buzzing with dragonflies, and willows bending slightly in the breeze. You might flush a great egret from the reeds, or see a blue heron hunched over the water, laser focused and waiting for just the right moment to strike. These seasonal trails are some of the best places in the Willamette Valley to witness the great ebb and flow of migration. Shorebirds in tight formations swooping across the sky, Canada geese honking from overhead, their voices echoing across the marsh, even the subtle rustle of a western pond turtle sliding off a log into the water. It all happens here. And as much as these trails are a gift to the visitors, they're a gift to the wildlife too. That's why they're closed from October through April, to give the refuge's wintering birds the space and peace they need during their most vulnerable season. It's a simple but powerful reminder that sometimes the best way to protect nature is to take a step back. And for the photographers among us, yes, I see you carrying that giant lens like it's a newborn baby, there's something extra special. The Refuge has a dedicated photo blind that you can actually reserve. It's tucked off the main trail system away from the crowds in a spot that's absolutely prime for catching those quiet, intimate wildlife moments. Imagine sitting quietly for an hour, camera at the ready, and watching as California quails scurry just feet away, or a coyote trots silently along the edge of the marsh. It's a front row seat to the secret life of the Refuge, and you don't need to disturb a thing. The Tualatin River National Wildlife Refuge is the closest refuge to our home. We find ourselves returning to it again and again, drawn by the rhythm of the seasons and the familiar bends in the trail. And if you ever catch us out there in the early morning mist, chances are we are walking the seasonal trail with a camera slung over one shoulder. We have found that there is something about coming to the refuge in the quiet hours before the city wakes up. Geese honking as they lift off the water, nutria slipping silently into the reeds, a rabbit darting across the trail like it's late for something, and then in the stillness a great blue heron standing motionless at the edge of the pond, regal and patient. Waterfowl come and go, their colors shifting with the light, and during migration season, every day is a new chapter. One morning we might find a cinnamon teal, the next a flock of northern shovelers cutting lazy ripples across the water. With over 200 species passing through in a year, there's always something new and something familiar. That's the gift of being a regular. You start to learn the patterns. You know which snag the kingfisher favors or which stretch of the trail the deer like to cross at dusk. You find trees where the red-winged blackbirds gather, the branches where owls hunker down, and just like the birds, you start recognizing the people too. The guy with the tripod who's always there at sunrise, the woman with the big sun hat and the birding journal. Strangers at first, but after a few shared sightings and swapped stories, they become part of the experience. Because that's the beautiful secret about places like this. National wildlife refuges aren't just for the wildlife, they're for us too. They connect us not only to the natural world, but to each other. And when you walk these trails often enough, you realize you're not just observing a community, you're becoming part of one. So whether you're out here for a sunrise photo session, a lunchtime stroll, or just looking to get the kids off their screens and into the dirt, these trails have something for you. They're not just paths through the refuge, they're invitations to listen, to slow down, to connect with something bigger than yourself. And if you let them, they'll guide you into a whole new rhythm, one that's tuned to the heartbeat of the land itself.